one of the most incredible spiritual journeys on earth, the Hajj. For millions of Muslims, this is a once-in-a-lifetime duty, a pilgrimage to the holy city of Makkah that's just brimming with devotion, unity, and an unbelievable connection to God.
So right from the start, we see where this all comes from. This verse from the Quran, it's the bedrock. It frames the Hajj not just as a trip, but as a fundamental pillar of Islam. It's a duty owed to God, but only for those who are physically and financially able to make the journey. And that little detail is key.
But here's something you might not know. This profound journey isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. The faith actually allows for flexibility, which is amazing when you think about all the different circumstances people are coming from. So, how do you choose your path?
Well, there are 3 distinct methods to choose from: Ifrad, Qiran, and Tamattu. Each one offers a slightly different way to approach the pilgrimage, making it possible for everyone, from a local living in Mecca to someone traveling halfway across the world. Let's break them down.
Okay, this chart lays it all out perfectly. First, you've got Hajj Ifrad. Think of it as the single Hajj. It's just the Hajj rites, and that's it. It's usually for folks who live right there in Mecca. Then there's Hajj Qiran, the combined one. Here, you perform both Hajj and the lesser pilgrimage, Umrah, together under one single intention. And finally, Hajj Tamattu, the interrupted one. You do Umrah first, take a break, and then start the Hajj rites. Both Qiran and Tamattu require an animal sacrifice, while Ifrad does not.
Now, Hajj Qiran. This one is special. It's considered the most demanding of the 3, but there's a really important reason some people choose it. It's the exact method that the Prophet Muhammad himself performed. So for some, taking on that extra challenge is a way to follow his personal example as closely as possible.
But, for the vast majority of people flying in from all over the world, Hajj Tamattu is the way to go. And it just makes sense, right? That break you get between performing the Umrah and starting the main Hajj rituals is absolutely crucial for rest. It makes the whole physically demanding journey a lot more manageable.
Okay, so since it's the most common path, let's really get into the nitty-gritty of Hajj Tamattu. We're going to walk through it step by step to really understand the flow and the deep meaning behind each of these sacred rituals.
So here's the big picture, a bird's-eye view of the main schedule. It all kicks off on the 8th day of the Islamic month of Dhul Hijjah, with a journey to Mina. The absolute peak is on day 2 at Arafah, followed by the day of sacrifice, a couple of days of stoning, and it all wraps up with a final farewell.
All right, so Phase 1, the Umrah. This is where it all begins. Pilgrims enter a sacred state called Ihram, where everyone wears simple white cloths. It's beautiful because it just erases any sign of wealth or status. Then they circle the Kaaba 7 times in a ritual called Tawaf. After that, it's the Sa'i, a brisk walk between 2 small hills, which is a reenactment of Hajar's desperate search for water for her son Ismail. Once that's done, men will shave or trim their hair, women just clip a small amount, and you can exit Ihram and finally get some rest.
And while all of this is happening, there's this sound, this constant, beautiful chant filling the air. It's the tabliyah. It's the pilgrim's response to God's call, this continuous affirmation of, "Here I am, O Allah, here I am." It's literally the soundtrack of the Hajj.
Okay, now we get to the absolute heart of the Hajj. On the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, pilgrims put their ihram back on and head to Mina, which transforms into this massive city of tents. The next morning, it's on to the plains of Arafah for the single most important day of the entire pilgrimage. They'll spend the entire day there, just lost in prayer, until the sun sets. Then, they move to a place called Muzdalifah to pray, spend the night under the stars, and gather little pebbles for the next day.
And I really can't stress this enough. The day of Arafah, it's everything. This is the spiritual climax, a day of immense forgiveness, where millions of people stand before God, pouring their hearts out. The Prophet himself famously said, "Hajj is Arafah." You just can't overstate how important this day is.
So, what about those pebbles they collected back at Muzdalifah? Well, you need a minimum of 49, 7 for the first day, and then 21 for each of the next 2 days. You'll see most people collecting around 70 though, just in case you drop a few or miss the target. It's always good to have spares.
And that leads to a question a lot of people have, especially if they're seeing this for the first time. Why on earth are millions of people throwing tiny pebbles at these big stone pillars? Well, the symbolism behind it is incredibly powerful.
It all goes back to a powerful story about the Prophet Ibrahim.
See, when God commanded him to sacrifice his son Ismail, the devil, Shaitan, appeared to him 3 different times to try and talk him out of it, and each time Ibrahim drove him away by throwing stones. So, when pilgrims do this today, they're not just throwing rocks, they're reenacting that defiance. It's a deeply symbolic act of rejecting evil, casting away temptation, and strengthening their own commitment to God.
So this next part is huge. The 10th of Dhul Hijjah. This is the same day Muslims all around the world are celebrating Eid al-Adha, the festival of sacrifice. For the pilgrims, they start by stoning the largest of the 3 pillars. Then they perform their animal sacrifice, and after that, they shave or trim their hair, which formally takes them out of the state of Ihram. Then it's back to Mecca to perform another Tawaf and Sa'i. It's a busy, momentous day.
And just like that, the journey is nearing its end. Pilgrims head back to Mina for 2 more days to stone all 3 of the pillars, really cementing that rejection of evil. And then, before they leave the holy city, there's one last obligatory act, the Tawaf al-Wada, the farewell Tawaf. It's a final emotional goodbye to the sacred house of God.
Now, completing this journey is an absolutely incredible blessing. But what about those who can't? The Islamic tradition has this beautiful provision for people who, for whatever reason, just can't undertake it themselves.
And that's a very real situation for so many people, right? What happens if someone is too ill, too frail, or maybe they've passed away before they had the chance to fulfill this duty? Does that mean the opportunity for that reward is lost forever? Well, not at all.
And the answer to that question really shows the mercy within the faith. It's a concept called Badal Hajj, or Proxy Hajj. It allows someone to perform the entire pilgrimage on behalf of someone else. It's considered a completely valid fulfillment of their duty. And honestly, it's one of the most profound gifts you could ever give a loved one who couldn't make the journey.
And really, that just brings everything full circle, doesn't it? Whether you're the one traveling across the globe to stand on the plains of Arafah, or your sincere wish is fulfilled by someone else, the Hajj teaches us all something vital. It's not really about the miles you travel. It's about the sincerity you carry in your heart and that deep, profound longing for God. That's the real journey.